Hi, I'm Meg, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Make That, the cooking show where we make delicious, affordable, and quick Instagram-ready recipes together at home. Today we're going to focus on one of my favorite dishes that are perfect for a couple of different types of events, whether it's a brunch with your girlfriends or your family, or an easy weeknight meal. And that is the classic French dish, Quiche Lorraine. It is a perfect example of how just very minimal ingredients can make a delicious meal. So we're gonna go see what we need and let's get cooking. For today's recipe, we'll need the following ingredients. 1 small onion, a 9-inch pie crust. I used a previously frozen one. You can go ahead and bake your own if you're feeling adventurous. 4 eggs, a packet of pancetta. If you don't have this, you can also substitute 4 pieces of nice bacon. 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I pre-grated this before we started recording. 1 cup of Gruyere cheese. Now, if you don't have Gruyere or you're in a pinch, you can also substitute a high quality Swiss, but I do recommend the Gruyere, it's a lot better. Fresh pepper, salt, nutmeg, and Tabasco. And last but not least, 2 cups of delicious cream. You can either go ahead and use heavy cream for the whole 2 cups, which is gonna be a bit rich, or you can do what I do, which is half and half. So about 1 cup of heavy cream and 1 cup of just plain milk. And that will really be still creamy and rich, but a little less fat. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do a couple of more prep items before we get everything together. So let's preheat our oven to 375 degrees, and then we're gonna take that small onion I showed you and thinly slice about 3/4 of it, because that's what we're gonna need. We're also gonna go ahead and separate that pancetta and make sure that all the pieces are about yay big. I'll show you a little bit later, and if anything is too big, we can just go ahead and slice it and make it a little smaller. Okay, I'm gonna take that small onion I showed you and thinly slice about 3/4 of it. And what I mean by thin slices, it doesn't have to be microscopic, but we just want to make sure that they're thin enough, about, if you can see this, see? Just thin enough that when we saute them, they'll get nice and basically translucent. You don't want them to be too chunky and therefore be overpowering in the quiche. Okay, I've just finished slicing those onions thinly, that. And I'm going through the pancetta now, and I just want to make sure that all the pieces are about this size. You can see like a very small dice. So if you see anything really chunky this big, just go ahead and cut it in half. You don't have to go too crazy. You just want to make sure that there isn't really anything glaring. If they're pieces like this, that's fine as well. They will cook down. It's just really these big, chunkier pieces that you just want to make them a little smaller. Ooh, that smells good. As you can see and hear, that pancetta is starting to cook. And as I mentioned, the fat is rendering out, so we didn't need to worry about adding butter or oil. Okay, that pancetta is really looking good. We're gonna go ahead and take the fire down and take this out of the pan onto a paper towel lined plate for drainage. I'm gonna make sure that either your bacon or pancetta is nice and crispy, but not burnt. Let's get this here. And as I mentioned, that pancetta or bacon had released some of the oil and fat, and you're gonna go ahead and pour that off if there's excessive amounts. Right now I have about, it looks like 2 tablespoons, and that's actually gonna, it's actually about 1 tablespoon. That's actually gonna be pretty good. So we're gonna keep that in this pan and use it to cook the onions in just a second. If you have a slotted spoon, I recommend that as well. All right, let's move this pancetta aside and go ahead and taste a little if you want. Nice and crispy, flavorful. Reheat that pan to medium-high. Really coat with the fat that you rendered out. And let's go ahead and put those onions in there. We're going to cook these onions until they are nice and translucent. And then we'll put them aside. Okay, it looks like these onions are done. They're a little caramelized, there's a little brown color, but most importantly, they're translucent. So once those are done, let's go ahead and turn the heat off and grab our pie crust. So in the pie crust, we're going to sprinkle at the bottom that beautiful pancetta, or if you had made this with bacon, you'll have crumbled those cooked bacon slices into bacon crumbles and put it all at the bottom of the pie crust. Just like this. Spread it around so it gets nice and even. So it should look like this, and then we'll go ahead and put those onions in. Same thing. Just nice spread around. You want to have a good layer so that at the bottom there's enough onion to bacon or pancetta ratio. So once you get that there, let's arrange it nicely. And the bottom of your pie crust should look like this. Right? So now we've done that. Let's put that aside and take those we're going to take those 4 eggs and just do a light beat. You don't want to overbeat them. Just whisk them slightly so the whites and the yolk are nice and mixed and incorporated. Just like so. Perfect. And we're gonna go add our cream. Ooh, amazing. Let's mix that in a little. We have a nice mixture of the cream and the eggs. Now you can see our beginning of our custard a little bit better. And we're gonna add to the mixture of the eggs and the cream that salt, pepper, nutmeg, and Tabasco I showed you in small amounts. So go ahead and measure out or sprinkle in about a half teaspoon of nutmeg, a half teaspoon of salt. Again, I love to use sea salt or kosher salt in all my cooking. You don't have to go too salty because remember that bacon and especially pancetta has a good amount of salt in it. And then about half teaspoon of fresh pepper and a little kick Tabasco. I add about two nice dashes, maybe 3. Go ahead and do 4. Nothing too powerful, just enough to give it a little bit of kick. Let's mix that all together. And let it sit there for a quick second and finish prepping the remainder of the pie crust. So in the pie crust, we put the pancetta or bacon and the onion. And we're also going to go ahead and put that cubed Gruyere cheese. Remember I said how you cube it relatively small? See how that is? Let's put that in, sprinkled all around. Just looks really nice. Don't forget the edges of your pie crust. We're always tempted to put things in the center, but we don't want to forget the edges as well. So that, and then that grated Parmesan that we had, go ahead and sprinkle that all around. So your pie crust salad is now ready for the custard. Right? Now the custard, which is that mixture of the eggs, the cream, and the seasonings, give it one more nice stir. And then we are going to strain it into the pie crust mixture. Look at that, it's so nice and thick. Ooh, I'm so excited. It's gonna be amazing. Get it all in. Oop. You have a little too much. You want to make sure that it's just at the edges. Don't overdo it. So this is just right. Maybe even a little overfilled, but that is okay. So I put this on a sheet pan and we'll get it into the oven and bake it for 25 minutes until basically the eggs of the custard and egg, the edges of the custard and egg come away from the pie crust. This will also help you if you have any spillage, not to get your oven really gross and dirty. And then the next thing that you try and cook, you create flames and smoke and all of that nastiness. So let's get this in and set your timers for 25 minutes. So our timer's just come off and I can't wait to see the quiche. Oh wow, take a look at that quiche. It's lightly brown on the top, nice and puffy, so it's still a little hot here. We're gonna let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes before we cut in so everything settles and it looks beautiful, but I am very excited about taking a nice big bite of this. I love how you have a nice coloring across, and just the pie crust has a little bit of coloring as well. And as you can see, it was a good idea that we put this on a cookie sheet just for any spillage, because I do have some on the side, but no worries, it's gonna be fine. Okay, we've given the quiche about 10-15 minutes to cool, and it looks perfect and ready to cut into. I cannot wait to have a nice slice of this. Oh, look at that. Creamy, but nice and baked. I always score it. We know how to do the halves. There. Perfect. Ooh, I can't take credit for that crust, but it looks delicious and flaky. Okay, let's take a look at our quiche. So it's nice and creamy and rich. I can't wait to try it. Ooh. Oh my gosh. The custard of the quiche formation was amazing, and then those layers that we put of the onions and the pancetta at the bottom make each bite just really delicious. I'm gonna have to have a second one. It's perfectly balanced. And there's just that hint of nutmeg, a little salt, and not a lot of heat at all. So you could put a little bit more paprika in if you wanted to. Oh, sorry, hot sauce in if you wanted to. But honestly, I think this is perfect. Well, I'm gonna get the rest of it plated for tonight's dinner. I'm gonna pair it with a beautiful glass of rosé and a nice, fresh, crisp salad so that we can really cut through the creaminess of this quiche and it'll be a good pairing. Okay, well, I'm gonna enjoy this. I hope you enjoy it as much as I will. Have a great night, and I can't wait to see you next time. Oh, remember, subscribe and comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the recipes and the dishes, how you made them, and anything that you'd like to see us cook together. Anyway, until next time, you can make that. Bye.